All right, so welcome everyone, and thanks to all of you for being part of this course. This is our kickoff for Equity Institute Summer 2023, and I'm really glad to have all of you here. We have about 20 participants in the online course, but just a handful of us here today. Things are busy, and as I said, I'll be posting this afterwards so folks can catch up, because this is meant to be an asynchronous course that you can kind of complete on your own time, but pretty quickly over the course of 4 weeks. That's the plan. So if we haven't met, my name is Melissa Bowles-Terry. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the director of the Faculty Center. I'm really pleased to welcome you to the Equity Institute Online summer semester. We developed this course in 2021 to take some concrete steps toward reducing inequities in education. And there's a part that all of us can play in it, regardless of our role on campus. And we are coming from a lot of different places. But we're part of a university and a higher education system that was not necessarily designed for our current students. And sometimes it doesn't serve them as well as it could. In the past few years, I think we've seen our students in a whole new light, sometimes with a literal peek into their home lives. And we know that students are coming to us from a variety of backgrounds with different strengths, experiences, and challenges. And seeing the full identity of our students, thinking about intersectionality, being cognizant of our language, our privilege, our implicit biases, it's really important to better serving our students. So thank you, all of you, for being willing to examine how you're teaching and how you're designing different learning experiences. It's a really good first step. In the first module of the course, which opened up yesterday morning, you'll learn more about UNLV as an institution. And for our past participants in the course, this has been one of their favorite parts and kind of a really eye-opening experience to look at the history of UNLV and who we serve. In Module 2, which will open next Monday, you'll learn more about our students. Module 3 will challenge you to look inside, reflect on your identities and what you bring to teaching and learning interactions. And then Module 4 has our final assignments that really ask you to apply what you've learned to design better and more inclusive learning experiences. So that's the sort of the layout of the course, our 4 modules over the next 4 weeks. The ultimate goal of this course is to offer some practical ideas to implement more equitable teaching and learning practices. And as I said, we're coming from many different perspectives, and some of you work in areas outside of the classroom. We have advisors, folks from student affairs, folks from libraries, and more. And I'm excited to see how you'll all adapt this content to your own context where you're working with students or working with university faculty and staff. There's a lot to cover. It's all kind of up to you to figure out how this is going to work in your own practice, because there's a lot that we could do when we're discussing equity, but this kind of is just going to be a starting point, kind of skimming the surface. So this is just one part of that conversation. Know that we're not going to cover everything, not even close, but we do hope that this is going to give you a starting point to reframe your teaching and learning activities, and hopefully you're going to come away with some practical applications. We also do want to develop a learning community inside the course. So everyone is coming with different areas of expertise, different levels of comfort, talking about diversity and inclusion. And we really see that as a strength of this learning opportunity. So please do be open to sharing and learning from each other along the way. We hope you'll have rich discussions within the group, and you can give each other feedback on your final assignment. That's going to be part of it. And we'll also have another optional end of course meeting like this on Zoom, where we can extend our discussions as well. So I want to shout out the course design team. This was a course that was designed with folks from online education, the Faculty Center, libraries, and the MSI Student Council. And I also am going to introduce you to Suzanne Becker from Online Ed here in a moment. But since there is just a handful of us here, I'd love to just go around and do quick introductions. So I'll just ask you all to tell us your name, your discipline, and what brought you here. I'll go first, and then I'll call on Suzanne, and then I'll point out who's next. And we'll just do some quick intros and then talk about completing the course and kind of do a Q&A. But for name, discipline, and what brought me here, my name's Melissa. I come from libraries. That's my home on campus. I'm a librarian. And the reason that I am really passionate about equity and inclusivity in the classroom is in part from my own experience. I'm a first generation college grad, first in my family to get a bachelor's degree. And so I know how it can change the course of a person's life and a family's life for a person to get that college degree. So that kind of started my interest in this topic. And then being at UNLV and being so proud to serve such a diverse student body and being part of an MSI has also really deepened my commitment to this effort. And I'll have Suzanne Becker go next.
Hey, thanks, Melissa. I'm Suzanne Becker. As Melissa mentioned, I work with the Office of Online Education. I am a embedded instructional technologist, and so I work with a lot of courses. I work with the College of Urban Affairs on various pedagogical online endeavors. What brought me to this project is being part of the online ed team that wanted to help design this course and think about the different ways we could participate to help bring folks together in this. I also, sort of driven and interested by, as Melissa noted, my own experience as a student, and also my background is social sciences, sociology, and so I've done a lot of teaching. And so both as a student and then as an instructor, these issues are vital. And of course, being part of the UNLV community, it's just so important to the work that we do. So that is me.
Thank you. And Suzanne helped build the course, and she'll be available if you have like technical issues with the course. Please do reach out to her and to me.
Absolutely.
As things come up.
Yep.
Thanks. All right, let's go. Katie, then Keone. Go with some Ks. Tell us your name, discipline, and what brought you here.
I'm Katie Rafferty. I'm in the Life Sciences department, and it's going to reflect how we interact with our student body. And I've, done a couple of the online just teaching and learning development courses, and I always walk away with something that is really beneficial to my teaching. Specifically in the fall, I'm teaching a writing intensive course. And so I'm interested in making sure that I create my writing assignments, like the actual task, in kind of a more equitable way. And then maybe if there's any type of things that we're going to learn about grading in an equitable way. So.
Hello, everyone. My name is Keone. I am a graduate student in the Department of Mathematics. And the reason why I'm here is because, mathematicians tend to be kind of rigid in their teaching and their thinking. And I just wanted to come here to see like what I can do to help reframe everything so to be a more inclusive learning environment in the mathematics classroom. So.
Awesome. Thank you. It's great to have you. Let's go with Alethea and Elaine.
Hi, my name is Alethea. I am also a first generation student, and I'm currently with the Office of Information Technology. My background is in training and development, and I focus on instructional technology and e-learning technology. And I'm really interested in learning how those technologies can support diversity, equity, and inclusion strategies and pedagogy within our university and in our community.
Okay, I'm Elaine Bunker. I'm in the Department of English, and I teach first year writing. There's kind of a combination of things that bring me. One thing is I'm a professional development junkie. I take the whole lifelong learning thing very seriously, and but I also think, and especially, there's a few thoughts that came to me as I was listening to others. I'm not a first generation college student, but my parents came from very interesting educational backgrounds. My dad grew up in Bunkerville. If any of you know where that is, very small town. My mom actually spent some of her formative years in living in Getchell and growing up, I thought that was the name of the town. And it wasn't until the last 5 or 6 years, I realized that there was no town. It was just the mine. And she was literally in a one-room schoolhouse. But that's the teacher she talks about the most. And all of this kind of informs my belief that the individual is the core of the educational experience, and how important it is that we value each individual's experience and their language and their beliefs, and help them see that that's the core. You know, education is to enrich that. It's not to make everyone the same. It's to enhance those diverse perspectives. And so anything I can do to better equip me to value those differences in themselves and respect those differences in each other, I'm all for whatever thing I can add.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Christina, I think we're at you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Christina Miskey, and as of yesterday, I have a new title. So I am now the Research Impact Librarian in our Scholarly Communication Department and Lead Library. And I work with students and faculty to demonstrate the impact and reach of scholarship, research, and creative activities. And so I do a lot of like workshops. Sometimes I, attend classes and, work with students and things like that. And I was a first generation student and a non-traditional student working full-time throughout my entire education. So I really felt disconnected through a lot of my education. And so I'm passionate about trying to make things more approachable. And I teach a lot of things that are like bibliometrics and like all kinds of things that are like heavy topics that feel very clunky to me. And so I want to make it more approachable, less intimidating for people that I'm working with and things like that. So I'm always looking for ways to improve how I teach these topics to try to make them more appealing and less scary. And so I'm really excited about this and ready to get started.
Great. Well, thank you all so much. It's nice to kind of start forming this learning community, get to know each other. So thank you for doing that. I'm going to do a little bit of a course preview. I think you've all mostly been in there already, but just so we're kind of all looking at the same thing. We know you're high achievers and you want to do well in this course. So here's how you're going to do really well in this course. Every week on Monday, we'll open up a new module and you can work your way through. You won't have access to like module 2 until you've completed the assignments from module 1. So just so you know, it's on a timer as well as on your completion of the previous module. So finish up module 1 and then on Monday, module 2 will open, et cetera, et cetera. We did that because we do want everyone to sort of move through the course together because there are discussions each week. So try to keep up, but we know that folks get busy and summer can be hectic. So we'll be accepting late work at least through June 16th. I usually will extend it a week too. I'll just tell you in advance that, we want you to be able to finish it up. And we also will just leave your access to this course open for the foreseeable future. So anytime you want to go back and revisit it or get back into it, it will be available to you. I do want to point out our final assignment so you can get a little preview. This is the course revision template. And since, we have folks who work in IT, folks who teach library workshops, as well as some of you who teach, sort of your traditional college classes, this is going to be different for everybody. But for this activity, what you're going to do is make a copy of this template, this Google document, save it. And you can start this right now, in module 1, sort of making your notes about what you're going to modify throughout as we go throughout the course. So we're going to go over, in the course materials, there'll be information about creating a diversity statement. And then you can think about what kind of diversity statement you want to put on your syllabus or in your course materials or on a slide or anything like that. We're going to talk about delivering varied content. And you're going to think a bit about how are you going to vary your course content so that students can access it in different ways. So that's the idea. And we really do encourage you to take a look at that template right away and just save it and make notes as we go throughout the course. And that's basically your final assignment. And there are parts of it that you can kind of pick and choose because not all of it is going to be applicable for everybody. So we just want you to make it work for you in your context. And that will probably take the most creativity for Alethea, because you are in that kind of like training and development sort of area, working with faculty more than with students. But hopefully you can find ways to make it really useful for yourself as well.
Yeah, if I could just add to, I know as folks work through some of the content for, we have such a wide variety of people that participate in this. And I know not everyone, as Melissa just mentioned, is in the classroom, but you know, most of us are student facing in one way or another, and we work on documents that impact students or policy, or we have to provide, you know, any number of assignments. And so even if something is kind of oriented toward the classroom, we tried to, you know, diversify that a bit so it speaks to a wider variety of experiences. But there are definitely ways that, you know, if you can think through how you might use a specific idea or you know, implement a policy or something like that in the work that you do. Most of it can be applicable. If it's not, as Melissa mentioned, just, you know, see what does work for you, but definitely encouraged to think about, even if something is mentioned in the context of like teaching our classroom, how you might be able to deploy that in the type of work that you do and the groups of students that you work with on a regular basis. So we hope that that is useful in that respect.
Absolutely. Last summer, we had a bunch of folks from admissions take the course, and they ended up revising a bunch of their like front-facing, student-facing web pages to make sure that they were using inclusive language and that sort of thing. So it really can be applicable to a lot of different roles. Another thing I wanted to say is that in the past, we have been able to offer stipends for this class, but the funding for that through the provost office, it was coming through a grant and the funding ran out. And so we do not have stipends. And my apologies for that. And I didn't say it earlier in emails, and I should have. And so no worries if this is not for you. And if that is an issue, like it's totally okay if you're not going to be able to complete the course this summer. But I needed to say that we don't have stipends. Sorry. There are badges. So at the end of the course, there's a badge that you can download that you can add to your LinkedIn profile, your signature, etc. And so we'll get to the badge once the course is completed. And that and what I'm going to be doing grading wise is just checking for completion. I should also say that. So as you are submitting your work through this week, so looking at module 1, you're going to do a quick quiz, a self-reflection, an MSI designation activity. I'm just going to check that those are completed. So it won't be a lot of feedback from me. You'll just see like, yep, it's done. And then at the end, we will be sharing feedback with each other on our final assignments. That's about it for my little course preview. So what questions do y'all have about getting started in the course? Okay, it looks like maybe no questions at the moment, but just know that in the course discussions, please do share openly. Let us know how you're going to be using this in your practice. We'd love to hear about it. Reach out to me or Suzanne with any issues that you come across as you're making your way through. And we're really excited for what we're going to learn together this summer. This is the last time that we're going to run the Equity Institute in its current form. It'll probably take a new shape this coming fall as we're going to be forming some learning communities in the College of Sciences and the College of Engineering regarding the Student Experience Project. So headed in a slightly new direction. So you got in on the last time through the Equity Institute online. All right, well, I'm not seeing anything in the chat. No questions at the moment. So thank you all for joining us. Good luck with grading and wrapping up spring semester, and we will see you in the course.
Thank you.
Bye.